All right. Hey guys, welcome to our CWA emulator status update stream. We want to do a little bit something different for y'all this time. I'm Mark, or GMJ Jr. I'm the project lead. I've got quite a few staff members, team leads with me today who are going to help kind of just explain what we've been uh, working on for the last couple months and what we're working towards right now. So we just wanted to give you that kind of inside look and just show you what we've been up to. So I'm going to turn it over to the staff members that are with me to introduce themselves.
Oh wait, I go. Okay. Hi, my name is Frank, or Frank Rayo, or my full name is Frank Rayo Augusto Hernandez Estrada de la Fenrica, or you can call me anytime also. Yeah, I'm the video editor here. Um, I'm the video team lead to be specific. And yeah, that was mostly it. I'm here because we are very inclusive and we needed someone that talks Spanish. And yeah.
Hey guys, how's it going? Name's Beast. I am the current support manager over at CWAEmu. Uh, I'd also say I wanted to say my favorite Star Wars character because why not? I gotta go with Luke Skywalker from Episode 6, and for those who've seen it, Mandalorian Season 2.
Hi guys, my name's Leo. I'm marketing lead in Hype. I gotta say my favorite Star Wars character is definitely the Clone Troopers. But yeah, I'm Leo and I'm the marketing lead at Hype.
Hey guys, I'm Ryan. I'm the technical artist team. Um, Favorite Star Wars character? Probably Qui-Gon Jinn.
I am Ace. I briefly forgot where the unmute button was, and my favorite character is probably, I don't know, Miss Windu, and I'm the game moderation head.
All right, and then we'll have JM, our community manager, join us later, and I'll have him do his introduction then. But thank you guys for joining us. So let's get started. So the first thing we kind of wanted to go over is we're gonna go through each department that we have. We have 4 departments, and we want to start with the moderation team. Just kind of tell you a little bit about what's been going on there, and where we're trying to go with it. So, Beast, I'll let you take over, and Ace.
All right, so for the past couple months, we've been working on in-game filters for the actual game itself, the emulation, and for our current community Discord for the project entirely. We have been getting a lot of feedback for the past couple months on some words that need to be implemented, some that need to be removed from the filter entirely, so that could be a much more smooth gaming experience for everybody. We are currently working on getting that consolidated as quickly and as efficiently as possible. So we appreciate everyone's patience through this time. But this filter will be constantly updated as much as possible while we get this situated. Ace, any further details you want to add about that specifically?
When it comes to working on the filtering things, not specifically, though I guess we are working, or we are planning on fixing some mod tools in game that would regard chat, at least with pulling chat logs for things.
It's fair enough.
That's pretty far off.
Yeah, it's stuff that we're constantly working on to make the gameplay a more user-friendly experience type thing for the game itself, and we again doing our best to work with what we have and just improving upon that as much as possible. Like Ace said earlier, that we're also working on moderation tools that are going to be implemented in the game as well to make moderation a bit easier for our team to handle things, like if a couple rule breakers that may come about every once in a while, just get that fixed as soon as possible. I can't think of anything else at this current time, unless Mark has anything he wants to add in this side.
No, I can't really think of anything else to add on there. Like you said, we've been updating the filter. That's one of our biggest focuses for the last couple months. We really wanted to make sure that it was open enough that people could hold conversations and not have to worry about the filter restricting them where it shouldn't be. But we also wanted to make sure that it was family friendly. So we've been implementing a lot of systems to try to get that running a lot more smoothly. We've taken an approach not completely unheard of in this style of game. Uh, we've gone with a whitelist, and we've got a blacklist to go along with it to block particular phrases. But I think that our team has been doing a lot to really flesh that out, and then also kind of along what you said, Beast, just improving the documentation and the tools that are available to our moderation team to really um, smooth out that process and make sure that we're able to handle things properly. Um, but I think that really sums up a lot of what we had for moderation. Another thing that we kind of want to do along with the stream as well, I'll go ahead and get this out there, is we want to be here to answer your questions. So, Ace and Beast, if y'all are good with it, I'm actually going to open up the floor a little bit here, see if we get any questions specifically for moderation, and then we'll kind of do this after each department. Just so that way, if y'all have anything that you're curious about, we can try to address that.
That sounds good. Floor is open for any questions if y'all have any for Ace and myself, Mark as well. But in the meantime, I appreciate everyone joining in the live stream. This is really really glad to see everybody join in just to participate and get a nice update of what's going on here. So it wouldn't be successful without you guys. So thank you for joining.
By the way, to submit questions, you can just drop them in the stream chat, or if you're currently in game with us as an alpha tester, you can drop them in game chat.
Absolutely.
Alright, so we got a question on stream from Glenn. I'm not going to try and pronounce this whole name, I'm sorry. But he said, what keeps you guys motivated?
That's actually a really good question. Mark, do you want to answer that one first?
Yeah, I can answer what keeps me personally motivated. For me, I played this game a lot when I was younger. It was a huge part of my life at the time. I really enjoyed it, and around the time this project started is when I was first really getting into game development. I was trying to learn the basics, and so one of the things that keeps me really motivated is just seeing how much not only I've personally grown, but how much the team has grown, and how much the community has grown too. Because it's really encouraging when I go in and I'm researching all this stuff and learning whatever I might be missing, and then I go implement it, and the feedback from the team and the community is amazing. Even if it's they come out and tell me, man, that sucks, you need to do better. It drives me to want to improve it. Beast, do you want to kind of answer that for you?
Yeah, I mean, like Mark, I played this game like the original game when it first came out, and I loved it. There's still people I talk to this day that I used to play the game with X amount of years ago, and it was crazy. But seeing the community nowadays, it's just how much love that they have for the game definitely keeps me focused on wanting to improve the game so that everyone that I used to play with will play this game as well, so we can come back together and just enjoy some good times, Um, but I really love how the community is today and how responsive they are and how loving they can be with just this project entirely. And this helps me just to keep moving forward with how amazing the emulation has come to even to this day.
All right, and since that's kind of a general question, I'll just open up to the rest of y'all here in chat with me. Did any of y'all want to answer the question? What kind of motivates you?
It's just seeing the community happy, like, when we're creating the event, seeing everyone together, seeing everyone relive their memories that they once had, and trying to rebuild something great that was once a big part of our childhoods, especially when it comes to loving Star Wars, really.
Yeah, kind of for me is a lot. I think we all kind of share that same sentiment of, this is a game that we all like to play as we were younger. For me personally, kind of like what Leo said, the community is a pretty big driving force. But also the fact that I'm studying to go into game design, this is really kind of helping me to learn a lot more hands-on of what it means to be in the actual game design industry. So
For me, it's pretty much nostalgia and just wanting to be a part of the game. And that was gone for, 8 years before multiplayer started back up.
All right. Ace, I'll direct this question at you. I see TJ asks, who's the coolest mod and why?
I believe that will be Beast or Bisho, but sadly he left.
I don't deserve that, to be honest with you, but appreciate it. Nah. Let me think. Best mod. I just love all the moderators, to be honest with you. Like, they're very mature when the job needs to be done, but they're also really cool to talk to and keep up to date with. I don't have a personal favorite, to be honest with you. Yeah.
All right. Did anybody else have any question for the mods? All right. Well, I'll keep watching chat here for a couple minutes, but unless something pops up, I'll assume that there's nothing left for the moderation team. So let's go ahead and move over to support team. V, since you've been heading up that area, I guess if you want to get started there. Oh.
Yeah, I can get started with that. One of the biggest updates right now for support is we have developed a new backend for support questions. We have an email system that we're utilizing where anyone can send us a question about their accounts in game or any issues or bugs that they've encountered within the alphas for the alpha testers, where they can send us an email to CWA support, and we'd be able to resolve the issues as quickly as possible. Whether it be like a bug that they've encountered in game, we can send that over to the developers to show them what errors that they've been seeing. See what we can do about resolving those issues. Another one could be someone has an issue with an account they have, like if they're stuck in game somewhere. They provide the information for us, and as support, we'd be able to get that resolved as quickly as possible. And like I said earlier, with this this new feature, it's a great way for us to get updated bug tracking, to get that resolved, to see get more feedback from the alpha testers, see what we can do to improve, so that later on, whenever we have this game open to the public, it'll be a more streamlined way of getting things better working. Trying to find the right way to phrase that. Another one I could touch up on is we are also expanding the support team a little bit. Like, instead of just being just pure support, would have two factions within the actual support team itself. One would be like a relations type, like kind of like the front end, being able to see what like quick issues can be resolved, and let me see if I can pull up a good way to describe it. like the relations team is basically like the face of support. Their goal is to give the players like the best support experience they can and resolve the issue quickly and easily as possible. Plus, they can also answer questions and act as a go-between for the next team I'm about to discuss, which is the the data team, which is basically the backbone of support. Their goal is to resolve any major issues that are thrown their way. They'll be able to access to the database and other key tools. You like resolving a user's account. It will work to document the issues for the devs to resolve as well. So that's another big one that we're looking at right now. Unless you have anything else you want to add to this, Mark.
Yeah, we're having technical problems. So in the meantime, we're gonna go over everything that was said, and we're gonna translate it into Spanish. Okay? I see no objections. No, Mark, you got anything to say? Okay. Okay, buenas a todos. Mi nombre es Mark. Oh, okay. Mark is here.
I'm
Okay.
back now.
Oh,
It helps if
okay.
I unmute
Never mind.
myself. I've followed along with Ace.
Oh, okay.
But no, I think you covered it pretty well, Beast. We got that new back end for the email, like you said. That it tracks everything as tickets, so it makes it a lot easier for us to handle. We can keep track of everything, so we can make sure that we are getting responses to you and helping you out. As well as with the new factions, designating people to work on certain parts of support, it's going to help us specialize so that way we can actually resolve your issue much more efficiently. On top of that, we've improved bug tracking, like you said. We're actually working to get that organized. We've been working on that on the dev side as well, so that we can hopefully find the root of all of the issues that players have been encountering and resolve them much faster than we would otherwise. Because we'll be tracking a lot more of the data on how it's happening, how many people it's happening to, stuff like that. It'll really help us narrow things down. But that's really all that I've got there. I am going to backtrack a little bit because I saw one question come up for mods. Beast and Ace, I'm going to direct this one at both of y'all.
Okay.
The question was, what do you look for when you're interviewing a mod?
Actually, really good question. For mods, the first thing we want to state is that we do have we want to see a sense of maturity, because there are going to be issues that need to be tackled that are definitely not family friendly, because in essence this game is supposed to be a family friendly game for everyone to enjoy. For those that are looking to become a moderator, we want people to be mature when handling such issues. We also ask those, if I recall correctly, Ace, I think like the age requirement is to be 16 or older. Is that right?
16 or 18, one of those two.
I think it was 16 if I recall, but we can 18. That also works just fine as well. But 16 or older is what we are generally requesting. But we also look at the maturity of someone whenever we conduct interviews, and those, the applicants that we receive, we want them to be open and honest with us as well, because honesty goes a long way for everything. At least for me, it is. I would rather have someone be very completely honest with me over anything we interview somebody. What about you, Ace? Is there anything else that you like whenever you interview somebody?
One that I've been looking for specifically lately is the willingness to work in, or willingness to consult the other mods when something happens, which goes into the internal rule thing that we did fairly recently, which probably doesn't need to be brought up here, but basically getting the rest of the mod team sort of more involved with itself as well as more consistent in that respect. Is kind of one thing that I'm working towards.
Yeah,
All right.
I like that answer. Thank you, Ace.
All right. Well, if y'all don't have anything else that you want to talk about on support, I'm once again going to open up the floor for questions. So if y'all have anything that you'd like to ask about support, how we handle things there, anything along those lines, please make sure to drop them either again in game chat or in stream chat, depending on which one's available to you. Spyro, I don't know what your question was supposed to be. Uh, Alright, well, I'm not seeing much come through other than whatever Spyro tried to ask and the filter happened to catch. Um, let's see. I'll actually answer this question real quick that Darth Orbital just posted. It's not support related, but this way we can't lose it. No, we probably will not be adding things from the Kenobi series. One of the things we try to balance out is, the kind of not necessarily the risk of using certain content, but the legality of it. So, uh, what we want to do is, first of all, of course, make sure any content that we consider adding fits the game. But we also want to make sure that Disney is not currently profiting from any of that content because it would be wrong for us to play off of that profit, to play off of whatever they are currently working with. However, with things like the Clone Wars, that series has ended. They don't have an active game on it. So we can play around with that a lot more than we could something current where it just doesn't, it's not right for us to use that kind of content.
Actually, did see a question pulling up over here from Glenn. If you applied for a support role, but after hearing the mod responses, how do you go about changing the application? If you applied for support, you're more than welcome to apply as a mod as well if you'd like. If you feel like you fit the criteria, go ahead and send us an application. You're more than welcome to do so.
Yeah, there's no shame in applying for positions.
Yeah, none at all. Just want to throw that out there.
But in fact, I mean, we actually encourage it in some things because, like, if you notice looking through, say, the dev application, you'll notice it asks you, are there any other development positions that you're interested in? So one of the things that you're more than welcome to do is say you did apply for support, but you also wanted to be a mod. We do allow you to work on a couple teams at a time if you fit the qualifications for both, as long as you're contributing to both. So if you want to apply for multiple positions, you can. You may get accepted for one. You may be offered positions for a couple. It just depends on what your qualifications are and what all you apply for. I'm going to go ahead and answer this one from Skippy as well. So we try to stay on top of applications. It really depends on what the needs are currently on the team, which ones we'll look at and not. So, like, you specifically asked video editor. As you've probably noticed, we haven't made a whole lot of videos recently. So the demand for them isn't super high right now, but that doesn't mean that, in the coming weeks or months that we don't increase that and decide, okay, we need to bring on a couple more people to help out with that. So it's really just going to depend on what the current demands of the team are versus how many applicants we have, whether or not we get to any particular application. But also, I want to add on to that as well. If you applied, we don't ever throw out your application. We keep them on file in case we do need those roles. So say you applied now for some role and some odd chance we don't need anybody there for, let's just say, a year, just to exaggerate a bit. We can still go back and look through those applications and then reach out to you and say, hey, we thought that you might be a good fit for this position. We know it's been a while since you've applied, and we'll ask you if it's something you're still interested in possibly doing, and then we would go through our interview process from there.
And also, speaking of our next topic of hype, I believe we have a new member that just joined our chat.
Hey, welcome to the stream, Jam. Glad you could make it. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. Hello, everybody. I'm sorry I'm late, but currently I am the community manager for CWAEmu, and I also do a lot of other smaller things, but that's generally what my main role is. So today we kind of wanted to talk about a lot of the changes that we've had in the hype stuff, because we've made a lot of big changes this year, so whichever direction Mark wants to pivot me into, I can start answering questions and talking about different topics.
Yeah, I didn't see any more questions for support come in. I've seen quite a few for development, so I'll try to get to those later. For now, yeah, Jam, if you want to, you, Leo, and Frank, if y'all want to kind of go over what's been going on in our hype or marketing team and what you're working on.
Sure. Does anybody else want us to go first, or should I just get started?
I don't know.
I'll mention
You go
future
started.
events quickly, and then if you want to jump in, Jam, with the community, and then Frank with the
Sure.
videos.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're hoping to schedule quite a lot of events this year. I mean, we had a pretty successful end to the year last year, and I mean, the events wise, we hope to bring more and more new events to the table. Like, we're continuing our hide and seek event because that's going pretty well, and as Jam continues the meetup events that we've been planning, the emissary events, which are quite well, and they help us test the servers as well and make sure everything's working and really test the limits on what we can achieve player wise at a single time, especially in this one area. Don't know if you want to add anything to that, Jam.
I mean, generally speaking, it's just like, it gives people a reason to get engaged that otherwise I think at the moment is kind of lacking in some, there's not even though we're in a way better place than we were, say, this time last year, the events is really like a major draw for people to get on, and it makes it a lot easier to find issues with things that are going on, and it's also just a really exciting time for people to actually, enjoy the game with a lot of people around. We'll pick a certain area at the moment is how we're doing it. In the future, it'll be a little different, but right now, I think it's a really exciting thing. We've been keeping up every, 1 to 2 a month, generally speaking, and it's going really well. So it's been exciting to see a lot of positive feedback and a lot of positivity with people in the community, actually getting on and playing the game and talking about it and making videos and stuff. So, but I guess that's all I've got to add to what Leo said.
It's also like the rewards as well. Like, we used to offer just credits, and now we're starting to offer exclusive gear items, speeders, etc. And
Yeah,
really expand our prize draw eventually and branch out quite a bit.
yeah, especially on the 31st event. That was a really successful event with the special unreleased speeder from the original game that nobody ever got to have. That was really great, and we're going to do that again next year too. So,
I mean, the great thing about Hype is it's not just like a one-man team. I mean, every member of Hype contributes quite a lot to the events, and like, even if they're not in the event itself, behind the scenes, every member of Hype seems to pull together, and that's how the events unfold. Really, like it's not just a one man thing to thank; it's a whole team effort.
Yeah, exactly. If there are any questions in the chat, I can't see the chat right now, so
It's also don't know if you want to mention social media videos, etc. Like, so I know Jam focuses on the announcements and all over social media, and I know Frank does the videos.
Yeah, yeah. We also got our special friend Danny, who makes the graphic content. He's not here
yes,
anymore.
mostly Danny and myself doing
Yeah,
the graphic content.
yeah. That's
Um,
we give all the credit to
so
Danny. Sadly,
yeah, just credit him, not me. But
yeah, we give all the credit to him.
yeah, it's going well. This month has been a little slower on social media, but we're gonna pick it back up again. We've been working on a lot of stuff behind the scenes, and there's also been some schedule conflicts recently, but things are picking back up again, and it's gonna keep being positive momentum. So
Yeah, so now I'll talk a little bit about the video part of the team. So yeah, we haven't had videos in quite a long time, and to be fair, that's been quite unfortunate because it's been a combination of both tools and time schedules. Because with the help of Mark and Ryan, we are developing new tools to record stuff in the game and to make videos more appealing, more epic, if you could say so. But so yeah, we should probably have some very cool and interesting stuff coming sometime in the future, video wise, because we have more ways to record. We're not so limited to what we had. So yeah.
All right. Well, if y'all don't have anything else to add to that, then I'm once again going to open up the floor for questions. I actually see one I'm going to go ahead and answer right off the bat. Uh, it was well, chat's moving. Where'd it go? Well, I don't remember who
So
asked it. Somebody asked me, or asked the chat really, how do you join us in game, and if lightsaber duels was back. You can sign up on our website. Just go to the homepage, CWAEmu.com. It'll be right there at the bottom of the page. And then we have a queue that it'll add you to, and we'll bring you in. And then on lightsaber duels, they're back. We're still working on fleshing them out because they're a little buggy right now, and there's only a couple levels, but they are back.
I think
Mark, I wanted to add real quick. There are also alternative methods of getting into the closed alpha. Every other month or so, we host small events where 1 to 5 or so people might have a chance to enter. Um, in that month span. So on our Discord and on our Twitter, we post those events. So
I'd just like to add to what Jam said. Like, obviously, we want to include non-alpha players as much as possible. So we try and boost like events in Discord to try and keep you guys engaged in Discord and give you special roles in Discord or special alpha access, as Jam said, and we hope to make it more common, so you guys can stay active in the Discord servers itself. I also saw a question from Repto earlier about how to join Hype and what to expect. Like, obviously, we want you to be as creative as possible with your ideas, etc. And we want to hear what you can add, obviously, and what you can bring to Hype. So, obviously, when you're doing your applications, it's always great to be as creative as possible and to show us like what ideas you're willing to bring to the table and what you can really bring to Hype, and if you can be engaged with events with us, because that's a really big part. And yeah, and when we do the interviews, it's about just seeing how creative you are, how enthusiastic you are, and how willing you are to engage with helping with events and yeah, getting to know the community.
Very nice. Um, yeah, I don't really have anything to add on to that. So, like I said a minute ago, if y'all have any questions regarding marketing, how we try to plan events, anything along those lines, feel free to go ahead and ask them. trying to watch both the stream chat and the game chat. So if y'all post them in either one of those, we'll do our best to answer them. All right. Well, I'll keep watching chat, see if anything comes up. But I guess. Oh wait, here we go. Event in game. What sort of events do you have planned for the future? Jam, you want to touch on that a little bit?
Yeah, sure. A lot of the events that we're doing in the future are going to be fairly similar to the ones we have now, but we have some fresh ideas and other things in mind, as well as some quality of life changes that we want to make. So right now, it's still in a planning stage, but we're kind of going to have alternating months where there's not a lot of big stuff and months where there's really big stuff. And in the bigger events, there's going to be things like exclusive items and rewards and things, which will hopefully be log-on rewards, but that's not in the game yet. And there's also going to be in those events, there's going to be days that are going to be like the party day, where we really want to get as many people online, but the event will still run for longer than one day for more people to engage with the game and interact. And there will be other special things going on with the events that I'm not going to reveal just yet, but there will be incentives to get on, like special items, shop sales, and exclusive maybe titles at some point. There will be special reasons to get on, and there will be a lot of variance, but it's definitely in an early planning stage, so there's not 100% like a total answer. It's really going to hopefully kick in next year. And there will also be events that take advantage of in-game features like housing and etc. So.
All right, and the question that was just brought up to kind of add on to that is, Reptar asked, what events are we talking about? Are we talking about like just social media events, or are we talking about gameplay focused events?
These are going to be like a mix of gameplay focus and in-game, but social events where it's more just an excuse to get on and hang out with your friends, and there might be bonuses or whatever for doing certain games or whatever in game. But there will also be social media events too, and challenges and things to interact with. Even this year, we have some ideas that we haven't announced them yet. But we have some cool and unique ideas where certain users with, some sort of talent or idea might be able to enter. And also ones where, like the March raffle that we did earlier this year, anybody could enter, and they don't need to have any, special ability or idea. And, everybody gets a chance to win something. So it's a mix of everything, really.
I also see a question here, Skippy. He wants to know: Are the players going to be allowed to host their own?
Yeah, players are definitely allowed to host their own events, but they're not going to be officially supported by our staff. So you're free to do whatever you want in game. You can coordinate it outside of the game, as long as it follows the rules and terms of service in game. It's fine. You're free to do pretty much anything you want as long as it follows the rules. And we're just not going to sponsor it or anything unless maybe we see an idea we really like and we want to do something. So, but yeah, I mean, in fact, it'll be encouraged to host your own events and parties and whatever you'd like.
We have certain members who host their own events anyway, and obviously we let it happen because it's nice to see other members still engaging with the community. If we're not active, then obviously it's really great to see the community like playing the game, making the most of the game. I mean, our next event will hopefully be a hide and seek event, which will be announced very soon. But yeah, I mean, if you want to host your own event, even if it's in Discord, we don't mind. We're open to any ideas, really.
And then I'm actually going to add on to that a little bit with a question that Mike asked earlier. He asked how much the events have actually helped with getting the servers more stable and stress testing them. They've actually helped out quite a bit. Um, if y'all remember, you alpha testers, a while back, we used to hold events where we could maybe get 30 people online, and then the server would start freaking out. And that's obviously nowhere near where it needs to be for a public release. Um, but as we've been holding more of these events, it's really helped give us a means of testing any new changes that we put in. It also gives us a lot of stuff we can go off of in our logs, so we can track down all these issues and hopefully get them resolved. So I believe our last major event, we had somewhere around like 90 players online, and we still had some issues that affected logging in at times, but the servers themselves stayed pretty stable. So uh, around 90 compared to 30 only a couple months before, that's a huge improvement there. And the more that we can stress test that and really dive deep into the logs based on what we get from the events like this, it really helps us to improve things overall.
I'd like to add to that, like obviously when we host big events and a lot of players come on and the servers go down, everyone's got to remember we're still in the early days of alpha. We expect these kind of things to sometimes happen, and we always work to make the game better and more stable for everybody.
Yep, exactly. I mean, we're early on, so it's a lot of testing like that and trial and error on some things until we get all of the major bugs worked out. But also hosting events like that gives something for not just players, but us devs and marketing members and everybody on the team, something to look forward to as well. Because it's always great when we're able to log back on, and even if the crowd is just one like this here that you see in the stream, it helps you relive that feeling of the original game because you get to see so many other people online. So that goes along with the question earlier too of what motivates us. Is it's seeing things come together like that. It really drives a lot of what we do. All right. Well, I thought we were going to have a surprise visitor in the stream, but I don't know what's going on there. So I guess if y'all don't have anything else that you'd like to ask, or if anybody on Hype has anything else that they'd like to share, real quick, then or doesn't have anything that you'd like to share, then we can move on. And do y'all have anything?
I don't. We can move
Nothing
on.
here.
All right. So with that, we'll move on to development. Let's see. Ryan, you want to start with your stuff, or do we want to start with Knack stuff?
We can start with next stuff first.
All right. So Knack was actually our potential surprise participant in the stream. Don't know if he's going to be able to make it or not. But I do have some of his stuff that we can show off. So Knack is our content team lead. So he heads up 3D modeling, concept art, texturing, all the stuff that would be required to add new content to the game. So there'd be new maps, new armor sets, new companions, anything along those lines. That's kind of where he works his magic. And so I don't have a whole lot that I can share with you over there just yet, because some of those things tie into larger plans that we don't want to make promises on just yet. We're still really early in that phase, just kind of discussing some ideas. But I do have some stuff I can show you that I think is really awesome, and just kind of gives you a glimpse of what he's been doing and his team. He's got a lot of amazing people over there. The work that they've churned out, I can't even tell you how awesome some of it has been for us looking at this project and going, this is some of the ideas that we've been churning out. And so, like I said, I've got a few of those I want to show. So the first thing, if y'all remember a while back, we actually had a contest where people from the community could design their own armor. And this was the winner of that contest. In the top left, you'll see the actual design that was submitted. That little image up there, and then one of our concept artists, Bella, actually took that and ran with it, and so she designed this concept art sheet, so that way we could actually begin developing these models and textures and getting things going to actually work on implementing this into the game. Sadly, none of those are ready quite yet. We're still in the process of making those, but hopefully we can show them soon. Another sneak peek that I've got here. This is actually a piece of furniture that was designed by another one of our artists. Her name is Sammy. She does a lot of amazing work as well. She does concept art. She does some 3D modeling, some texturing. This isn't anything from the original game. This is just something that she kind of came up with on her own and started designing. And I think it turned out really well, honestly. You can kind of see, she took a lot of inspiration from existing things, and it really just kind of gives you an idea of, we're not only looking at armor sets, we're looking at expanding, the furniture that's available for when we get housing, and we're going to be trying to expand companions and everything. We want to flesh out the game in its entirety and not just one area. And then another thing is, this is actually a concept art. We don't know if we're going to roll with it quite yet. We're still discussing how this would go out. This was designed for like a Halloween themed armor set, something along the lines of like a witch or some kind of sorcerer or something like that, a costume type set. But this was one of the really cool designs that stood out to us while we were discussing some ideas, and I felt it was worth sharing. This is another one that I believe came from Bella. Like I said, she's been doing a lot of work with concepts. And I mean, the team over there has been doing quite a lot of stuff. And actually, I just realized, Knack, if you're watching the stream, or Ryan, actually, you know the command to add items to an account, right?
I do not, unfortunately.
Actually, I'm on the wrong branch, anyways. I've got one more thing to show y'all, but I don't actually have the image ready, and I'm not on the right build of the game. Let me go see if I can snag a screenshot from our Discord real quick where we chat.
In the meantime, there are a couple of questions that I have that we can answer while you're dealing with some tech issues. If you,
yeah, if you want to go ahead and answer a couple questions as we're going.
Yeah. So earlier I saw a question. I could be mistaken, but I believe Ava asked how long does it take to actually texture a model. It's a bit of a tricky question because a lot of it depends on said model. Like furniture items won't take as long as doing like an actual armor sets. So a lot depends on the complexity of the armor. So, and then I also saw just a question. what language do we use and what engine. So we use the Unity 3D engine, and the programming language is C#.
Indeed, and I've got that image pulled up now, so let me swap back over and I'll show that. Okay, so this is actually another armor set that was requested by a contest winner a while back. It's the ARC 170 Pilot. We actually just finished implementing this one the other day. I know this image is a little low res, but this is an armor set that our content team has worked to. Well, I don't know why it's popping up extra options now, but they worked to get that model made, texture it. They have weighted it to our existing skeleton, and then this is actually an image of it in game where they were testing it out. And I think that one turned out really nice as well. So that really helps just kind of get an idea of what that team does and how much it's going to tie into adding custom content to the game and expanding the available items for everybody to use. All right. So Ryan, I guess we want to move on to your thing real quick.
Sure. Mark, if you want to open it up, we can show off some of RD level 6.
Indeed. Do you have it in the play menu, or do I need to go there manually?
It is in the play menu, yes.
All right. So let me
unleash the full fury of her
unmute
droid
my
armies against the Republic
dialogue here.
defenders on Volusia.
So one of the things that we've also been working on is we want to expand the selection of minigames that we've got. And
the enemy's preparing
get
a
things
final
going.
push on our base on Volusia.
I'll let Ryan take over from here because this has kind of been his project. But Ryan, whatever you want to talk about on it.
Evacuation forces are on the way.
So yeah,
Long enough for them to
RD level 6 has been something that's
then they'll come for us. We've developed an improvement.
well, I don't even know how long. Probably about a month-ish. It was something that after working on level 2 of lightsaber,
It'll do more damage.
back on the public defender train to kind of finish up the level.
We should get ready.
Um,
Aren't going to make this easy.
I've done some like small teasers throughout various social medias, through the Discord. I've sent some stuff for our hype team to post out on our Twitter, and this is still a work in progress level, but you know, we're hoping that we can get it done soon-ish. You know, that's always the key phrase here on the dev, just soon TM. So it's something that's been in work. You may or may not notice inside of the actual game itself, we have the repeating blasters ready to go. That's something that was worked on during the Grievous Steel's Life Day, and yeah. So there's some stuff to finish up with it. Like, not all of the enemy power-ups are fully implemented. Some UI stuff not fully implemented. And of course the big ticket items of like for the main boss, and of course the speeder bike power, or the speeder bike ability, I guess is the correct term for it. Those are things that are still being worked on. So.
Yep, and then to kind of add on to that, you know, like I said, we've been trying to really expand the amount of available minigames and levels because we want to really build on what's out there for y'all to play. So we're hoping to continue to push some more of these levels out. We're also shifting our focus to work on some of the other original games that haven't been implemented yet, and I'll kind of touch on that in a second here. But as you can see, I mean, like Ryan said, this is still a very early version of it, but it's working pretty well. We just have some visual errors, some stuff towards the end to work out.
Yeah,
and
I can say real quick though, Mark, the MTT unit, it does actually spawn enemies upon death, so that is actually.
Yeah, so
that's in the later waves though. I don't know how long you're wanting to play through this level.
yeah, I'm not going to show the whole thing because I want to leave it for y'all to experience for yourself. I don't want to spoil it all like we did kind of, I guess, with the first level. But I did want to kind of showcase that, you know, we do have some work being done on it, and we're really excited to get this out to you hopefully in the near future. I'm not going to give any dates because I don't want to make a promise we can't keep, but hopefully soon.
I personally really like that level.
Yeah, some of our team has been doing testing on it and trying different strategies to get as many credits as they can, and all kinds of stuff like that. So they've got a lot of experience just getting the feel for the level and finding different strategies and stuff to allow us to adjust statistics and stuff for all of the different enemies and stuff like that. So it's the whole process, but we're getting there, and I think it's going to turn out really good.
I agree.
All right, and I'm probably going to stop this right here.
All good, all good.
And let y'all experience the rest for yourselves. And I'm going to turn off that audio again, so that way you can actually hear us talking a bit better.
Yeah, that way we're also not talking over the game and everything.
Exactly. So one thing I mentioned just a minute ago was we're working on expanding the mini games that we have available. So for those of you who follow us on Discord, you may have actually noticed that we've brought on a few new devs recently, and that's going to help us tremendously. I'm going to be straight up with you. We had a guy on our team, y'all know him as Krim. When he joined, he was the second programmer on the team. He helped out tremendously with a lot of the stuff going on in the back end, which I'll get to a little more later. But it really hurt us when he left as well, because he helped, like I said, drive a lot of what was going on here. But a lot of the things he did help improve have now helped us to also be able to bring on more people. So we are now in the process of getting these new people set up. We've walked with them through the code base. Some of them, a couple of them, have even gotten started actually working on some things. One of those being blaster training. One of our new devs, his name is Scriv on Discord. You may also know him as Charlie if you're in the Discord. He is working on blaster training. He's been doing a lot of great work there. He's already improved things quite a bit. So I'm really excited to be able to show you some of that stuff as he gets more of it rounded off and cleaned up. We've got a couple other devs. One of them is working on Fleet Commander. I'm going to hopefully get him started in the coming days, so I won't give an ETA on that, but I'm excited to hopefully showcase some of that in the future. And then we've got one of them who's going to be working on updating our website. Some of y'all have noted, some of the website it's a little outdated. It's kind of amateurish if you look at the code. There are a lot of things that can be improved on it. One of the big complaints we've gotten is on the alpha tester page. There's a lot of confusion on where to go to download the tester build. So he's going to be working to clean up a lot of that. And hopefully we'll be able to have that up and running in a reasonable time frame. We're still getting started on that, so again, I won't give any dates on anything. Other than that, I mean, we've been a lot of the last few months has been a lot of change for development, and Ryan can attest to that as well. As a lot of the team can, because they've really seen a lot of the stuff that we've been going through to get things cleaned up. We're now focusing on trying to get documentation going, so that way we can actually introduce new people quicker. Make sure people know how things work, and our coding standards, stuff like that. We've recently changed versioning software, or not versioning, but Ryan, I'm drawing a blank on the term. Help me out.
For which part? Sorry.
Changing over from collab. What's the
Oh,
software?
the GitHub repository.
Yeah. So essentially, we used Unity Collab, which was great up front, but it had a lot of flaws, and it became really expensive over time trying to add people to help out. And then we ended up trying something called Plastic, which was Unity's answer to the problems with Collaborate. And it was leagues better, but it still had a ton of problems that just didn't really help us out any. It hurt us more than it did help. So we recently moved the entire project to Git, specifically GitHub. It's private, so I'm sorry for anybody who wanted to go look at the code. But with that transition, we have been working to get a lot of our back end really where it should have been all along. So we're now setting up a proper development structure. We have proper bug tracking that we're working on. We've really narrowed down the amount of tools that we've been using because we were really spread out. We've got it down to just a few different softwares that we really use and that integrate a lot of the features that we wanted to have. And then one of the things that Crim really helped out a lot with was updating a lot of the old code base, because a lot of it's kind of dated at this point, and it shows. And it needed to be updated to our current standards so that we can more easily build on the features that we need to build on. So we've been doing a lot of stuff like that over the last few months, and that's part of where like the server improvements have come from that we talked about earlier. Is in revamping that, we've been able to look through the logs and go, so this is what was causing the error. Let's rewrite that to meet our standards now. So it's really helped out a lot in that area as well. Ryan, do you have anything you want to add on to that?
Not really. Do we want to get into the big ticket item?
I don't see why not. So this
Chat, hold on to your butts.
I will warn you, what you're about to see is in an early stage of development, but we are making a lot of progress on it. So you may hear a little more about this in the coming weeks. We will see. But let's visit the Padawan dorm, shall we?
I think we shall.
Finally, Padawan dorm. Oh wait, that was already.
Yeah,
implemented.
Padawan dorm confirmed.
Okay, that was already implemented. My bad.
Beast, get out of my house.
Well, that's unfortunate. Fine.
So, as you probably already noticed, Beast was able to enter this house, and you'll see anybody else who is in the stream is still currently able to enter. But something we've been working on is, if my cat will get off my keyboard, is we are now able to start building. Very early testing still, as you can see, but we are able to place objects. Also, if I grab something here, let's grab a light. You can see I can place them on the side of other objects we've got. Believe we're able to rotate objects. Yeah, so you can see the cube is rotating there. So
yeah, there are some issues with the walls and all that, with rotating being a bit buggy still, but
yep. So this, like I said, it's very early development. I can't make any promises just yet, but as you can see, we're starting to get some things going. So, like I said, you can place objects. You're able to rotate them. We'll get scaling in here very soon. in terms of some of the server updates that we've been having pushed out over the last few days, I've told y'all that there's a lot of back-end changes, and some of those back-end changes is actually support for the player's housing inventory. So that includes when you buy furniture items, how does the server save that? When you buy a lot, how does it save that? So we're really working to try to implement this as best we can, and hopefully have something that we can showcase a little more and maybe even get out to testers within the near future. Again, I won't give any dates on that. All I will say is that we are doing our best to try to get this ready for you. Ryan, do you have anything you want to add on to that?
All I want to say is that this has been the hardest secret to keep for several weeks since we started planning this stream. This has been one for pretty much all of the leadership to try and keep.
Yeah, because this has been something we've talked about it for a while. We touched on it from time to time, but really in the last few weeks we really decided now is the time that we needed to work on this. So it's really been hard on a lot of us to keep our mouths shut as we've been getting some of this going. But I think the progress that we have so far is turning out really well, and I am extremely excited to be able to play this with y'all. I mean, I think this is going to be amazing, being able to customize our lots again, have friends over, and really just play around like we used to be able to in the original, where we could design, if we wanted to design a whole hotel or have a little box that we could hide in. It really allowed players to be creative with what they could do, and I think that's going to be a really fun aspect of the game to have back. I do see one question in chat currently asking, is it in sync with other players? So as of right now, no. So if you are an alpha tester who is currently in here, you can't actually see any of these items. Blaster, if you're watching the stream and will do me the honors, if you could just walk forward towards that wall, you'll actually see Blaster has no collisions with it. He can walk straight through all of these objects. But that is actually something that we've been working on with the back-end changes. Is we plan to actually get this all to sync up soon. So the next phase would be making it where this is actually a private lot and not something that just everybody can join in when they click it in their housing menu. And then from there, we'll actually have it sync up for people who are in your lot, where they can see what your furniture looks like and be able to interact.
Very soon.
If all goes according to plan. Which
that's always the key.
Exactly. But I think we're making good progress. I think we're actually on track right now. So if we can just keep that up, that'll be the main thing.
So, do we want to open it up to some Q&A for developments?
We can. I am going
Unless
to...
you got anything else.
No, I don't think I have anything else. I do want to answer kind of a follow-up question to the sync thing. No, it is not currently syncing with any of the other developers either. Like, Ryan, where are you at?
I am logged out of the game.
Oh, well.
I cannot log back in, unfortunately.
Well, anyways.
Also problems.
No, it's not synced up with other devs yet, just like Blaster was able to walk through the bed and the wall and all that stuff right there. The objects spawned are currently client-side, so like I said, the next step for that would be we're going to make it where you actually have your own lot, so that way you can customize it. We can set permissions that way, and then from there we'll work on syncing it up so that when you were to load into, say, my lot, you'll actually see what I've done instead of it being a public lot right now and everybody just logs in to see whatever's there.
Right. I guess I got one really quick thing to mention to jump into some Q&A if I may, Mark.
You may.
some of you may have noticed on our website for quite some time there were a lot of unavailable positions on the dev team. We have recently gone through and updated all of our applications, and they are now all available on our website to apply for. So,
Yep, yeah, that was the big push right before this was we wanted to make sure that we were open for people to join our team because that's really where a lot of our help comes from is people who are able to apply. So we wanted to make sure we had all those positions open, and they're now there, uh, which is going to allow hopefully for a lot more progress to be made in the future. And Dawson running around actually just acted as a good example of him not being able to see anything over here too, because he just ran straight through that wall. Let's see. We got quite a few questions coming in here.
indeed.
See one asking if you lose your progress. As of right now, yes, that's part of the syncing with the server thing. Is we'll make it actually save your progress. How long has building been worked on so far? Ryan, you want to touch on that one, or you want me to get it?
On which one was that? Sorry, I don't see that one.
How long has building been worked on so far?
Yeah, I can touch on that a little bit. So work on building actually began late last year. Krim and I started working on some basic, like just working on getting the inventory UI. And then Law kind of popped in when Krim backed off to do some other stuff. So Law and I have been kind of working on and off on housing. But yeah, just recently we started going full in on the building progress. So it's been worked on for quite a few months now. Just kind of off and on though.
Yeah, to kind of add on to that, like Ryan said, it was off and on for a few months, and then really about 2 weeks ago, probably, or a week ago, was when we really started to put more of an emphasis on it. So a lot of what you're seeing outside of, I mean, being able to place the items, roughly, that's been in for a little bit now. But then a lot of the back-end features and cleaning it up and expanding the selection, that's all stuff that we just started on not too long ago, and we're making quite a bit of progress on that as well.
Indeed.
All right. I see one question about long-term plans for the emulator. You want me to get that one, Ryan, or you want to?
Yeah, I'll let you take that one. I'll let you take that one.
All right, so I don't have a whole lot I can touch on there yet outside of we want to make it true to the original. So there are obviously some features and things that we feel didn't work out very well, and we're talking about maybe playing around with some of them. Nothing huge, but like combat, for example, was very bare bones, specifically in the area of classes. So we're discussing some ideas. I can't guarantee anything will happen there. I can't guarantee that it won't. We'll see, and we'll talk with you guys about stuff that we have in mind as we get there. But general future plans, we want to restore the original game. So that's going to be we want to get building back in as it was in the original. We want to get combat back in. We want to restore the mini games. And then we want to be able to expand slightly on it and prolong the life of the game. So that'll be adding new armors and furniture and different things like that. We really just want to bring back the experience that the original game had. So we're going to be trying to stay as true to that as we can.
Yeah.
See a question. Are there any plans regarding speeder bike racing? Is it being worked on at all?
Not currently, no.
Yeah, like Ryan said, not currently. It will be done, but it's not currently in our plans. Like we don't have a specific time that we'll start working on But I will say, in addition to that, if you remember back to our roadmap, we wanted to allow you guys to vote on which mini games we prioritize. So that will be something that y'all will be able to vote on, is when speeder bike racing and card commander and all these other games, when they get prioritized.
There's a question. Is there any news on? I'll let you take the Galactic Forces question.
You said any news on Galactic Forces?
Yes. Yeah. Sorry, I cut out a little bit.
Yeah. So on Galactic Forces, you may have noticed it is on the roadmap. Ryan has started working on some of the maps. He's showcased a few of them before. I think they're coming along really great. In terms of the programming side of things, we don't have any news to share there yet. But again, if everything goes according to plan, we should be starting on that in the near future, and we'll be able to share status updates and show some work in progress gameplay and stuff once we get to that point. Let's see what other questions that we've got.
If you want, Mark, I could possibly maybe send you something in DMs.
Yeah, you can. I actually see an in-game question from Eva. She asked, if you click on an item, does the builder command show up? So the answer is no, not yet. As you can see, I can pick up this cube and I can edit its position. But there was no menu that popped up yet. That is something that we are actively working on. Ryan actually, I believe, assembled that menu the other day, or is about to.
The editing menu one.
Yes.
It is. It has been started, but very little progress has been made since.
Right. So we imported all the assets for that, and like I said, we're going to be knocking it out very soon, but it is not currently implemented. Let's see. Other questions. I see one about any voluntary positions. So every position on the team is voluntary. Nobody is compensated for any of the work they do. That's one of the things that we actually make sure that you acknowledge when you're brought onto the team, is that you're not going to be compensated for anything, and that this whole project is here for us to get experience and to bring back the game. So every position, like I said, is voluntary.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for my raise. Yeah, $0 multiplied by 1. It's still 0, but I still want that raise.
Frank,
I see a
I'll
question.
multiply your current pay by 5.
Oh yeah, That's what I wanted. Okay.
So I see a question from Vitropa, I believe it is. They're asking, could you make it so that you could glitch out of Coruscant's window, referring to the either on the Padawan dorm or the Jedi living quarters? I think that's probably something that we could do. Keep it kind of faithful to the original.
That was also in the emulator for a little while.
This is true.
Yep.
And there was also one in the main hall where you could glitch out of. The window just didn't exist for some reason for one patch.
Yep. So yeah, kind of like Ryan said, it's definitely something we can do. I don't know that we'll put any kind of priority on it. But if it's there, we probably won't make much of an effort to fix it, just because that was one of the most well-known bugs in the original game, and something that players like to use a lot for all kinds of things. Let's see. I see a question from Tyler. He's asking, will you be adding more pets like the Tuca or the Loth Cat in future updates? Ryan, you want that one?
As of right now, it's in terms of asking like companions and stuff like that.
Sorry, what was that? You cut out again.
I was just wondering, is it more like custom companions? Is that what they're asking?
I believe so.
So the current way is we want that we get the original stuff in first before we focus on custom pets, but the possibility is certainly not for the future.
Yep, and then Ryan actually just sent me something, so let me see if I can
I
get this
sure
pulled
did.
up. Let me find it in my folder here. All right, so I'm just going to drag this on the screen for you guys.
For those who
So,
have followed the Discord, this is something that I have posted in the Discord a couple of occasions.
yep. So this is a one of the maps for Galactic Forces. As you can see, some of it's still a work in progress, like the UI still has our default names in it. But just to kind of showcase that we are making some progress there. It's not currently priority, but we do have a little bit going on, and we hope to make some progress before too much longer.
Indeed.
Eva, to answer your question in game, yes. Let's see. What other questions that we've got here?
When can we expect Galactic Forces to... we do not have a current target deadline to be made public, but we'll let you guys know more when we...
Yeah, and I want to add on to that a little bit. So one of the reasons that we don't give y'all any dates is because this is a volunteer project. We can't make expectations exactly on how much time somebody will spend working on things day by day. So we have internal goals that we set, and we do our best to meet them. But we don't want to tell y'all that we have this goal and then something come up, whether that be a bug that we didn't expect, or somebody's got something going on in their life, or all of the above, that pushes that back, because we don't want to set expectations for you guys that we can't meet. So when we set a date for something, we want it to be something that we know for a fact that we will have that content to you at that time. I also see a question about Darth Revan in Legends gear. Probably not. There is a Revan themed set that was released in the original. Was it the Sith Marauder or a Sith?
Yes.
Okay, so there is a set themed after him, but that's as far as we'll go with Revan.
And technically we have two variants of it because of the alpha tester gear.
This is true.
Question from Tyler: will there be updates for weapons, gains, clothes, armor, or decorations for homes in the future? Yes, there will be in the future. Kind of like what Mark was just saying, though, we don't have any official release ready to be made public, just because we don't want to give a date to you guys and then a week later have to delay it because stuff has popped up. So, in the future, yes, there will be.
And I'm actually again going to touch on what you said a little more, Ryan. I want to give kind of some more details on how we plan on releasing building to the alpha testers.
Yeah, sure, go for it.
So basically, the idea is we want to release it for testing once we have the bare bones of the feature in. So what that will consist of most likely is probably your own Padawan dorm that you can customize with any furniture that you buy, and it'll save, of course, when you leave, so you'll be able to come back anytime. And then you'll be able to buy probably only a few furniture sets to start off with. But the reason that we do that is we wanted to be able to get that feature out to you for testing, and then once we have that base, the bare bones of the feature, it will be a lot easier for us to expand that in a relatively short amount of time. So it won't be too hard for us to allow you to set the privacy on your lot to be able to bring your friends in, or to have a list of featured lots that are made public, that you'll be able to put out there, so that way just anybody can come visit your lot. It won't be hard for us to add in more furniture items, because we'll have a system set up where we can constantly go in and just add things that will expand greatly the amount that you can do with your lot. And then also along those lines, the way we set up the lots will be fairly modular. So now that we have a lot of the maps recreated, and have for a little bit now, once the system is set up, we'll be able to just go in to find some boundaries, and set some default variables, and we should have a working lot. So that's really the goal that we're working towards, is we want to have that bare bones first, and then as we get out for testing and really see how things are going, we will polish it and expand it, over the following days and weeks, however long it takes us to get it smoothed out and ready to go. And with something like that too, it won't be like we'll hold it all off into one big update either. We will push those as they're ready. So like if you run into a
Yep.
bug that's major, we will push that as soon as we get that fixed. If we get the privacy unlocks done, we will push that independent of the other pending features, so that way that is ready for testing.
So I see one question that's it says, are there any more additional saber colors? That kind of going back to what I said, we're gonna focus on original game content in first, before we make decisions on custom content moving forward. So, not saying no, but it's something that we'll have to discuss later.
Yep, and then I see Skippy is asking, will there be any lots available when housing launches? So ideally, I'd like to have a couple out, but most likely what will happen is we'll start off with the Padawan dorm, and then expand from there. So you might see an update that just releases the Jedi Temple housing, the Jedi member house, and then you might see an update that releases maybe the Felucia starter lot or the Ryloth lot, and we'll kind of expand from there. So that way we make sure that it works well in one instance first before we expand out and include all of the other lots.
Someone was interested in ping in Europe. As I'm not from Europe, but I know Leo is. Leo, maybe you can give some insight as to how the game runs from being in a European country.
The game runs fine in Europe. I mean, I don't experience any problems. I mean, any problems I do face is normally from my laptop, but I mean, the game runs fine. It runs smoothly. I mean, you probably have no problems. It all comes down to how well your computer copes with the game or your laptop or whatever. But I don't know. I feel like I get the same kind of server as I do from any other games, really. I mean, it runs fine in Europe like it probably does in America.
I see an interesting question. If you want to possibly take AGC's question of, will there ever be dual ownership of a housing lot?
As of right now, I'm going to say no, but I won't rule that out for the future. And the reason I say that is it probably won't be like dual ownership per se, but I can't. But there have been questions both inside of staff and outside of what if we allowed the owner to add people who can edit the lot. So I'm not gonna promise anything there at the moment, but most likely no, at least in this current at this current time.
Are we going to keep it as a browser game or make it? We will likely keep it as a browser download.
Yeah, so of course you'll have to go to the website to download it, but the game itself, it won't run in the browser. It'll be its own client.
Right. I see Ava has a question in game. Can be for sale. That way, if you don't want the Padawan dorm or whatever, you can choice. I could be remembering incorrectly, but I believe didn't you, at least in the later times, didn't you start with both the Felucia starter lot and the Padawan?
I believe so, and that'll be something we'll have to discuss actually, because also if you remember, you were automatically granted the Jedi member housing.
Yes.
So that would be 3 starter lots. Maybe what we can do is just have one of those, or maybe 2 of them that actually give to you automatically, and then from there allow you to purchase the rest. It's not something we've really discussed yet. Right now the main focus is the Padawan dorm, and then we'll figure out the others as we start to implement those different lots and houses.
All right. Got any other questions for either development or the staff? Tyler's asking about the Ryloth being worked on with AI character animations. I'm assuming are you referring to like combat?
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure what he's referring to in terms of AI character animations, but I would assume, I guess, the animations for the NPCs on that planet. If that's the case, then yes. One of the things that we'll constantly be doing is trying to make sure that the game is polished. So, like, once we get building to a state where it's playable and we've got most of our features in, we're really going to make sure that we go through and try to fix a lot of the bugs and polish what we can before we move on to the next phase of development.
And then
You go ahead.
I do. Sorry, do you have more to add on to that?
No, I was going to go to a different
okay.
question.
I also had a question. I'll let you ask yours first.
So I actually see a couple questions. One of them that I'll go and answer real quick, that's been brought up a couple times now, is will the Mace window return? It will return. I can't guarantee when.
It will likely be after the Hunchback of Notre is fixed.
The other question, let's see. Will you add new types of species to the game, as in species?
That's the question I was going to get to.
Oh, okay. Well, then we're on the same one.
Yep.
Again, it's hard to say right now. At this point in time, we don't have any plans to. But
we also don't want to rule anything out.
Right. Same thing, like I said, with shared lots or being able to edit, like allow people to come in and help work on lots with you. Plans right now, no, but I'm not going to rule it out for the future.
Here's an interesting one for you, Mark. Lightsaber customization. They're wondering when that's going to be coming.
So again, I won't give any time frames.
Right.
But the current plan is we want to try to get building into a good spot, and then as we're going through and bug fixing and polishing, I'll slip that in somewhere, because once I actually get started on that, it shouldn't take too long, hopefully. But we'll see.
It's always the thing, is hopefully.
Jam, I'm actually going to correct you slightly. Combat was in the emulator for a very short period of time. We held a very early test year or two ago now, where basically we just had some very basic AI walking around Ryloth, and you could smack them with some very buggy animations.
It
Uh,
was it was around the first or second wave of testers, I
exactly.
believe. So that would have been, I think, early 2020, maybe.
So yeah, we have one of the things that we did that for was we did that to test the stability of the server and to kind of get a feel for how writing AI on the server would be. But that specific test would not translate well to the state that the servers need to be in for a full release. So uh, we have laid a few more foundations for it, but we haven't started working on that feature just yet.
I also see quite a few questions coming in now. Tyler also gave some clarification about Ryloth. He was saying more like the tutorial cut. Yes, the cutscenes will be returning. Again, I can't really say when, but they will be returning.
Yep, so the idea is as we get further down the line, we'll actually spend a little bit of time polishing the game and making what we have feel as complete as it can be. And part of that will be introducing like the tutorial cutscenes and fixing up some animations and things like that. So we'll that the main push for that will probably come post build or post combat and just before we go into a public testing phase.
Yeah. Will we be able to export character models to use in other games? That's a no, unfortunately.
Yeah, sadly not.
Mostly due to legal reasons.
Yeah, that's the main concern there. And I saw somebody bring this up earlier, with like abandonware and stuff like that. Even if the game itself qualifies as abandonware, you still have a couple issues with it. One being that Disney owns the IP,
Mm.
so distributing content like that uh, while running a game like this isn't really seen as something good in the development community for stuff like this. And then on top of that, um, there's still the copyright on the assets themselves, and so it's just not wise in general to distribute things like that. Uh,
Yeah. Now, if we had the rights to the IP, we also do not own the IP. So, another question that I have seen is: will Dathomir return to the game and look similar to Umbara in regards to fighting on AI on the ground? Um, I'm not entirely sure.
yeah, Dathomir in the original, I believe it was just the arena.
That's what I believe as well. So maybe.
So if you mean like, will it be the way it was in the original, where you have that arena mission? Most likely. But if you mean will it be expanded into a full planet like Umbara, I can't really say on that yet.
Yeah. And then one other question that I see is some are pretty good, like wagering credits for dueling friends. So we do keep a note on our suggestions page in Discord. Um, we do take note of it, and um, a lot of the suggestions is obviously going to come into play more when we get the game back up to where it was at the end of 2014. When the game shut down, that's when we're going to really start acting on a lot of the suggestions, kind of just taking them into considerations and stuff. We do take a look at them, and there have been some pretty good suggestions.
Yeah, and to add on to that, one of the things that you guys probably noticed if you've been active in the Discord is that we revamped our suggestion system. And the reason we did that is we've been trying to keep track of everything, and it gets harder the more that people were able to talk in the channel and the more ideas they get shared. So we wanted to make sure that we implemented a system where we could actually keep track of what suggestions were there and what ideas people submitted to build on top of those. So we do have all of the suggestions that were submitted prior. We've archived them, so we have access to them at any point of time that we want to go back and look. but you're also welcome to resubmit things there because it just helps us keep track of things better. So that's a new system that you can really utilize to help get your ideas out there.
I see two more questions that I think are pretty interesting here. The first one, Mark, I'll let you in. Do you think that Disney or any other company like Disney or Lucasfilm are aware of this project?
Yeah, I'll address that one. So I believe so, yes. And I'll say that for a couple reasons. One, Disney has a legal team whose whole job is to make sure that nobody's infringing on their IP. So from that aspect alone, the chances of us having gone this long without being spotted are extremely low. And then on top of that, I do know for a fact that there are a couple people who have been outside of the team who have contacted the like contacted Disney, and I actually know of some people who have contacted some of the original devs, both inside and out of the team, just to get people's thoughts on the game. Some people questioning the legality of things. Wide different range of questions. I'm not going to get into what all was there, but I am aware of stuff like that. So unless they just went completely ignored, I would highly doubt that Disney or any other major company who would be involved in this is not already aware to some degree. But I'm also going to flip the question there and say that we're not worried about that kind of stuff necessarily, um, because we do what we can to stay within um, the legal rights that we have to use with this type of stuff. So I won't go full in depth again, but there is a legal area where projects like this are allowed. The overlap is that major companies can flag you for unauthorized use of IP. So what really comes down to is as long as you don't break the laws with what you're doing, it comes down to that company to decide if they're going to flag you for using their IP. And Disney is generally very lenient with that kind of stuff so long as you stay within the rules and don't claim that any of their work or their IPs are yours.
Indeed. And then another question I see from Derek Muth. On a scale of 1 to 10, how difficult is recreating the game? I think it's going to vary depending on person, and it also just depends on the task. Considering how small of a my perspective, it's certainly an uphill battle, and it's hard to think that we'll ever get this finished. But we just got to take things slow and work with what we can. And so, in that regards, I would say that it's on a scale of 1 to 10. I'd say it's probably like just in terms of how big the scope of the game is.
Okay, you cut off. What number was it?
Yeah, you cut off the number.
A 12. Sorry, my mic is
Oh,
acting up.
it's a 12. Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a 12.
See, I'd actually be a little or quite a bit lower than that. I was going to say probably closer to like maybe a 7 or an 8 because
yeah, I thought he was gonna say a 6.
because from my personal experience, and kind of going off of what you said too, Ryan, the size of the game is really the hard part. Working on the game itself, if you've got programming knowledge, it's not hard to develop the stuff. The hard part is trying to get the entire game done in the amount of time that you wish you could get it done. But in terms of is it hard to be able to do it, like being capable of recreating it given enough time? I don't think so. It's just really keeping yourself motivated, knowing that it's going to take longer than usual because it's such a big game and because we don't have a huge team.
Let's see. Do we want to take a few more questions here, Mark?
This is completely unrelated to any of the questions, but Mark, you have disconnected from the game due to inactivity.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me, especially since Beast is running in place over there. Yeah, we can take a couple more. So I guess if y'all have any final questions, you want to go with just like maybe 3 more questions? I know that's not a couple, but
Yeah, we can do 3 more questions.
say 3 and then end it there.
I see an interesting one. Where did we get the assets for the original game?
So, kind of a variety of sources. All the assets came from the original client. I can go and tell you that. None of the original devs or anybody reached out and was just like, "Hey, have this asset." Nothing along those lines. But then also, if you're asking in terms of like where specifically, some of the assets were from a former dev named Josh. Some of the assets have come from my personal client that I recovered from an old hard drive I found. And then a couple other staff members have donated their clients as well, which we use to kind of cross-check and just make sure we had everything.
Let's see.
Let's see. So yeah, I guess I'm not watching in-game chat for messages or for questions, but I'm assuming you're still there, Ryan. Or
I am not. I haven't
Jam
been
or
able to
somebody.
read
I
it.
am.
Yeah, if you guys see any questions in there, throw them at us.
All right.
It's mostly just panicking that Mark is gone.
That and probably hype for building.
Well, here, let's see if I can relog real quick.
Ava just asked what the favorite houses are of the people in here.
Ooh, all of our favorite houses. That's a good question. Mark, we can go down the list.
The lots.
Yeah,
we
which
can go down
which
the
of, which of the housing lots was your
Uh,
favorite?
Maridun. I had in the original game. I had Maridun.
Meriden?
Yeah.
All right. I'd say mine was probably the Ordo Plutonia lot, because
Ooh, that one was.
in the original game, that was my first premium lot that I obtained, and I had done it through crafting. So I was really proud of that lot, and it just holds a special place in my heart.
Which was the one that had like a really big, I don't know, like backyard. It was Karlak.
I think
It was like
Karlak and Ordo
yeah,
Plutonia.
yeah. Karlak was cool too.
I gotta say, my absolute favorite was the asteroid lot. I really love the concept of having that big shield generator
Oh yeah.
inside your lot. That was really cool. And then glitching out of that to go past the outside the realm of the actual lot itself, just to explore around and glitch out. I just love that one a lot.
Yeah, the Tatooine one. It was really big.
I really liked the Mustafar lot just because it was cool and had lava, and I don't know. I was like 8 or 9 year old child, so cool fire and lava things was pretty epic. But honorable mention, it's not a lot, but honorable mention to the attack cruiser because it was really cool, and it was also the first station cache thing I bought. So
I gotta go with the one that the only one that I remember really building on the most, and that was the Umbaran Sith Academy lot, if I remember rightly. And it was quite big, and I really liked all the customization you could do to it. And it's the only one really I remember back in the day which I really developed the most.
Um, For me, I'd have to say I'd have to Camino.
For me, well, I'm kind of torn between a bunch of them, but my main ones would probably be the Ryloth and Umbar Mount or lots because of the lighting in them. It was just nice and easy on the eyes, really.
We're
You
all
can make
pretty
good use of
varied.
the lighting for atmosphere. And probably my second or third guess would be between the Ryloth and Tatooine expanded lots, just because of the extra building room they had.
Yeah, we all had some pretty varied answers there.
Indeed.
Let's see. We'll do two. Sound good, Mark?
Sorry, you cut out again. What'd you say?
Two more questions. Sound good?
I think you're adding a question, but sure. I'm assuming.
Were we already at two?
I think so.
Specifically for devs, Malik asked what the favorite things were to be developed for the devs.
Mark, I'll let you go first because I'm having a hard time deciding.
For me personally, this is going to sound like a very broad answer, but multiplayer itself has been my favorite thing. And the reason for that is when we first started testing it, I honestly didn't know much about servers at the time. I mean, I knew how they worked in general, but I didn't know much about programming one. And so, one of my favorite moments developing the game, Dawson and I were in a voice chat, and we were just kind of going through some different tests, seeing what we could do. And there was a very specific moment where I loaded in, and I didn't think anything was going to work. I'm standing there T-posed, but I'm able to scoot around a little bit, and I turn around, and Dawson spawns in, also in T-pose right there. And for me, that was a huge moment because not only were we bringing back the game now for you to enjoy by yourself, but we were bringing it back for people to enjoy together, and that made me really excited to get working on implementing all of these multiplayer features so that way we could interact more.
Good old days of early CWA emulator. It's a tough question. I can't really separate one specific, so I'm going to just say two things. Working on the Republic Defender minigame has been a lot of fun, like making the maps. But also getting to work on building, like setting up the UI and stuff like that, and just being able to be a big part of that and bring back a huge aspect a lot of the community really enjoyed, I think are the two big things for me.
All right, so we said one more, or was that the last one? I'll be honest, I've lost track.
We can do one more.
All right, so
I'll let you take a pick.
All right, last question. If anybody's got any really big question they want, now's the time to throw it in.
Somebody asked about squads.
Ah.
Who'd you say asked about squads?
YouTube comments. The Testy Duck. Will clans come back? I'm guessing they mean squads.
Eventually.
Eventually, yes. They're planned a little further down the line. But I don't have a date on that again. Oh yeah, I see the comment now. It just took me a minute to scroll to it.
Oh joy, another button for Mark and Ryan to code.
Yep, so I guess I'll go a little more in depth in that since if we're counting that as the last question. Again, we don't really have a date on that, but I believe the current plan is to begin implementing that after we go into public testing. So we'll try to get the game close to where it was at its original release. So basic combat, which we know that was implemented a little bit after, but basic combat, building, your social features, a good number of core mini games that you can play from, and then from there we'll begin to expand it. So we'll do more mini games. We'll start to add in some more of the social features like clans and things like that to really flesh out the game and make it feel more complete before we even consider making any other additions or stuff that were mentioned in suggestions or that staff has talked about might be a good idea. Anything along those lines would come well after that. All right. Well, y'all have anything else to add?
I just wanted to give a personal shout out. Everyone who's watching this, our team, to all my fellow colleagues here. It's been a lot of fun working with y'all. We've all been putting in a lot of hard work on this, so I just want to thank you guys.
Yeah, definitely. So, I mean, I guess with that, thank you all for joining us. Hopefully, we've answered a lot of your questions that you had. We're really excited to try to get some of this stuff out to you soon. Like I said, we've got some target dates for this stuff, and if we get close to, if we think we're going to meet them, or if we have any specific dates, we will make sure that we get those out to you because we want to make sure that we're going to meet any deadline before we tell you all that. But we really look forward to being able to test all these features and play this game again with all of you. So thank you all for your support and for your feedback, for your questions.
And sorry if we couldn't get to some of the questions. Quite a few, but
Yep. Because, I mean, you guys are ultimately what drive us because, I mean, it's great seeing the game come back, but if it was just us playing the game, it wouldn't really be worth it. But seeing you guys have feedback on things and suggestions and being able to meet up in game and hang out, that's what makes it amazing being able to play the game again, is just seeing how much people missed the game and enjoy it being back. So thank you all for that, and I'm looking forward to getting some more stuff out to you soon, and hopefully before too much longer we can actually get into open testing, so that way we can have even more people join us and get things going. So with that, thank you for joining us. Uh, Again, I hope we answered your questions, and we'll see you guys next time.
Thanks again, guys.
All right, stream is down.
Okay, yeah, I was gonna say adios, but